It's a little smoky, it's a little sweet, and it is very, very tasty. This week, let me show you how to make a smoked espresso martini. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the Whiskey Nerd, and like I said, today I'm making a smoky espresso martini. And I got the idea for making this cocktail when I tried this whiskey right here. This is the legendary dark Silkie whiskey from the Slieve distillery. This whiskey is very nice. I'll put a link to the review up there, a link down below. It's a nice kind of heavily peated Irish whiskey. So it's not actually fully heavily peated because it's a blend, so it has some heavily peated whiskey in it. And that kind of, I think, combined really well with the rest of the whiskey in the blend, and it gave it this really dark, earthy, smoky, yes, but also like a bit of cocoa, bit of espresso powder, a bit of kind of those kind of flavors that came through really well. And I wanted to make a cocktail that featured this whiskey using a bit of coffee, and I looked on their website and it seems they agree with me because they've got a recipe on their website. I'll put a link to that down below if you want, that features this whiskey in an espresso martini. And I said, yes, that's the one I'm going to make, so full credit goes to them. I wanted to make a similar cocktail, but this recipe came from them. It uses the legendary dark Silkie whiskey. It uses a bit of coffee liqueur. You can use whatever coffee liqueur you want. I know a lot of people like using Kahlua, but for me, I really like Tia Maria because it's got that coffee, it's got a bit of sweetness, a little bit of vanilla as well to help round things out. It also uses a little bit of sugar syrup, some fresh but not hot espresso, and for me I'm going to make a slight change because I'm going to add some Aztec chocolate bitters. Now these bitters are really nice. They help to kind of amp up, to increase, to really go into those chocolatey notes, and I think it works really well here because it really leans into that kind of chocolatey note you get from the whiskey and those kind of coffee notes you'll get from it, as well as it being a very nice espresso martini. I was really glad I was able to find a smoky whiskey cocktail that I could use with this smoky whiskey. So if you've any ideas for smoky whiskey cocktails or peated whiskey cocktails, let me know down below because I'd love to try different whiskeys in different ways. But right now, that's enough talking. It's time to make our cocktail. It is going to be a shaken drink, so we're going to get our cocktail shaker and we're going to pop a nice rock of ice in there before we measure out our ingredients. We're going to start off with our whiskey. We're going to go in with 50 ml of this nice, peated, yes, but quite sweet, quite chocolatey, and like I said, those nice kind of coffee notes in there. So we're going to go in with 50 ml of this whiskey. It does come in at 46% alcohol by volume, so it's not down on the floor. It does have a nice little bit of extra weight that'll help it deliver into the cocktail. Next up, it's our shot of espresso, just cold espresso. That's going to give us the coffee flavor, but also it's going to give us some really nice kind of foam because espresso gives you that nice bit of foam. Next up, it's our coffee liqueur. Like I said, you can use it whatever you want, but me, I prefer Tia Maria, so I'm going to use Tia Maria. We're going to go in with 15 ml of Tia Maria into there, and then it's going to be our sugar syrup. This is just a plain old simple sugar syrup, just 1-to-1 sugar and hot water. We're going to go in with 10 ml. Because like I said, the Tia Maria has that bit of sweetness, the whiskey has that bit of sweetness. You don't need to use a huge amount of sugar like you would if you're making like a vodka-based espresso martini. So just a little bit of sugar to help round things out. And lastly, it's our bitters. These are the Aztec chocolate bitters from the Fee brothers. They're quite strong. It's quite like a dark, heavy, almost bitter cocoa powder note. So I'm only going to go in with 1 dash, just like that in there. But if you want, you could do 2 or 3 or 4, but that would probably be overpowering. So for me, just 1 dash of those is plenty. Gonna pop the lid on, bang it down, and shake it away for about 30 seconds to get it nice and cold. Okay, I think that is nicely chilled, and I can see it's nicely chilled from the outside of my cocktail shaker. So I'm gonna bang the top off and get ready to strain it out. We're gonna use a nice little Nick and Nora glass because I think that's gonna give a really nice presentation. Pop our Hawthorne strainer up top, nice and tight because we want to catch all those ice chips. Oh yes, just look at that. Perfect, right to the top. Now while this cocktail settles, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I put out whiskey reviews like the review of the legendary dark Silkie. I put those reviews out every Wednesday. I put out cocktail recipes featuring whiskey every Friday, and every now and then I put out different kind of videos on Monday. So if you want to see those, make sure you scroll down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. But right now, let's give this a couple seconds. Okay, that's probably about as settled as it's gonna get. Like, it could leave it a little bit more, but I can already smell that it's very, very tasty, so I want to get in and drink it. For a garnish, you could garnish it however you want. You could put a little bit of cocoa powder, you could drop some espresso beans up top, but me, just that lovely little wash line, that crisp black to white up on top, I think it just looks perfect, so I'm gonna leave it as it is, and let's go in and taste this cocktail. Cheers. As you bring it up, you get that sweetness, you get that coffee note, and you're like, okay, espresso martini. But then as soon as you taste it, as soon as it hits your tongue, you get that rich kind of caramel flavor of the whiskey, as well as that nice bit of peat. Like, this is a relatively strong, for an Irish standard, relatively strong amount of peat in a whiskey, and it gives it this nice flavor. But like I said, all those chocolatey and coffee notes mean that you're not like just adding smoke to an espresso martini, you're adding that nice rich caramel coffee flavors, and it works, I think, really, really well. The little bit of the chocolate bitters as well helps round things out, helps it be a little bit more chocolatey, a little bit more desserty. But if you've ever had some really nice strong like espressos, like really nice strong coffees, you'll know that there's almost a little bit of smokiness in them, with depending on how heavily they were roasted. And that just, it comes in here. It's not like the flavors are fighting each other. It's like they're working really, really well together. So it works really well. So I'm gonna keep on enjoying it. If you have a type of espresso martini that you like making, let me know down below. Is it just the classic, or is it something a bit different? Either way, let me know, but I'm gonna keep on enjoying this, and I'll see you next time. Let's launch it.